So now that we've talked about the best, the guy who represents the best of everything that this sport can be, let's take a minute and talk a little bit about one of the guys who's pretty close to the absolute worst that this sport has ever put forward, and obviously, look, it's too golden. It's too golden. I can't ignore this. I mean, even though it's just like it's slop content, and I hate slop content because once you watch a little bit of it on YouTube, it's all the algorithm will give to you. And I've been kind of finding that out over the last week. Just indulging in a little bit of slop on a particular subject. I'm not even going to talk about it here, but I mean, just watch a little bit of slop, and then just YouTube just comes along with the bucket, and they're like, "Here you go, you fucking pig. Here's more fucking slop." And now we're getting into some fucking slop here. Now I'm the one with the bucket, and I'm just fucking throwing that slop in your fucking trough, and it's like, but you know what? We have to fucking do it because obviously what we're about to talk about, and you already know that we're about to talk about Conor McGregor, Azalea Banks, and the dick pics. And it's just when you're famous, when you're literally famous, and you're one of the most famous people on the planet, and you're pretty close to one of the most famous fighters to ever live, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You are definitely, even if you should, whether you should or shouldn't be, is immaterial. You are in a privileged position that, to get your dick sucked, you don't have to send pics of it. There's like the girls that are going to want to are just going to want to. You're not going to have a very hard time identifying them, and you don't you any of them that don't, you're probably not going to convince them by sending them a picture, of your dick. And Conor McGregor, I guess he just couldn't help himself because he sent one to this rapper Azalea Banks, and it's just, if you're going to do something like that, like, Azalea Banks is a weird choice. I mean, because I never would. But I kind of feel like if I were to, I would probably want to at least, like, it would have to be at least like a Tate McRae or better. I mean, I wouldn't, but if I did, that's kind of like what we're talking about, and I don't really consider Azalea Banks to be in that company. But apparently Conor McGregor was hurting enough for it that he sent her he sent a picture of his dick. So obviously, what she does, and to me this is entirely justifiable. I'm not at all a person who thinks that generally, let's say intimate images of one person shared with another person should then be shared online. But if you're basically just some pig of a dude who's sending a picture of your dick to some girl that doesn't want it, I kind of feel like you've given that you've given that to the internet, and the internet has it now. And it's a little bit like Bangkok in what was that, Hangover 2, where just like the one guy goes missing in Bangkok, and the cop is just like, Bangkok has it now. It's like the internet has it now, and the internet's going to do what the internet's going to do. And apparently it is drawing attention. I mean, Chael Sonnen was saying on his podcast here, I think maybe might have even just been like today, that apparently he can't stop looking at this thing, and he's been him and his friends are sending it back and forth, and apparently one of his friends, his wife, walked in on him while he was opening this photo of Conor McGregor's dick, And yeah, the internet has it. I just kind of feel like the people that do that sort of thing, they should understand, like, this is something that can happen. This is something that can justifiably happen to you. And you do kind of deserve to feel this kind of embarrassment. And right now, that's what Conor McGregor is going through. I mean, given that he actually is capable of feeling embarrassment, which I think a lot of people have questioned for a pretty long time now whether or not he's capable of feeling embarrassment. But the thing about a story like this, there's just there's always there's just more, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. Very much like Conor McGregor. There's always just more, and then there's more, and then there's more. But apparently, and this is something that I didn't have any idea about until today when I was listening to Chael Sonnen again, another segment of his podcast, and apparently Connor was using some kind of like a dickweed. It's the only way to really kind of accept the description that Chael Sonnen was offering. It was just basically this thing was a dick weight. It's like a weight that Connor could attach to his dick, and apparently he was some of these photos he was lifting this dick weight with his dick. I just kind of feel like that's not a muscle that it's not a muscle that you can build up like that. I don't know if it was the idea that he was like trying to impress this chick with like how strong his dick is or something. Like, that's weird. I guess weird. My Rachel Zegler impression is not. My Rachel Zegler impression is not good. I wish it were better. It's not. But yeah. So not only does Conor McGregor have this device, but he apparently doesn't mind women knowing that he has this device. Weird. It just doesn't seem like that would be. Just doesn't seem like it would be healthy. It doesn't seem like it's conducive to doesn't seem like it would be conducive to, let's say, reproductive health down the road. It kind of feels like it would do the other thing. I mean, let's face it, guy's dick, its biggest things is that it's a huge blood vessel. And, like, what do you do if you're using something like that and you burst a blood vessel doing that? What are you going to do? Could you imagine having to, like, explain that to your doctor? I mean, given the importance of this organ, to the vast majority of men, I kind of feel like this is actually probably this is something that's going to become like it's an emergency. Like, you're going to the emergency room. Pardon me. A little leftover rib fest there. Happy rib fest to all who celebrate. But that's going to be an emergency room trip. Like, because God knows, like, you definitely want that information to be in the hands of, like, as few people as possible. So you definitely don't want to be, like, waiting and making, like, an appointment, with actually, like, your family doctor. Because, I mean, like, when you're calling the receptionist for the family doctor, you're probably going to have to tell her, or maybe him, it's 2025. It is modern year. It is current year. But you're probably going to have to give them, like, some sense of what happened. You're going to have to tell them. You're going to have to tell them something. What are you going to tell them? actually going to tell them that full story? Because I mean, obviously, the doctor's going to want to know why you want the appointment. I mean, they're going to want to be able to prepare themselves. And I feel like in this particular case, you're going to have to prepare a lot. Oh, I shouldn't laugh about this. I'm actually just kind of thinking now, and I do remember, I can't remember if this was in Maxim magazine or if it was like in Playboy magazine. But there was an article once that I wrote about like people that had like, ruptured that, like injured themselves in different ways, like during sex. And there was one dude that basically like ruptured like his whole dick. Like he was pulling it out of this chick, like way too far, like way too fast. And basically like, he basically, you know, bent this thing while it was, fully erect. And there was like, according to this description, there were like, it was like it was like it split under the skin, and there was muscle and skin and stuff that was just kind of like bulging out in ways that it's not supposed to. Okay, and this guy had to go to the emergency room, and I think if I remember this story correctly, that he might have actually had to have had surgery. Um, I think there was a surgery involved in this, and like a long ass recovery. Um, Man, I'll bet you I could probably. There's a pretty good chance that I might actually still have, like, literally every Maxim magazine and every Playboy magazine that I ever bought in, like, a box somewhere. And if I were to go dig it out, I'll bet you I could find that story and actually maybe just reproduce, produce some content based on that. I don't know. I don't know if the YouTube algorithm would love me for that, but I'll bet that I could. But anyway. Oh yeah, and of course John Wayne Bobbitt. There's a classic one. Uh, and they did reattach that. Believe it or not. I mean, I'm sure everybody, like, hey, you listening to this right now, is there any possible way that you don't know the story about Marina Bobbitt? About like how she caught her husband cheating on her and she cut his dick off and threw it out the window? And then like John Bobbitt and the girl that he was with, they actually like they got their shit together. They ran outside. They found his dick, took him to the hospital, reattached it, and then he went on and he had like a porn career later on in life. Actually, not that long after that. I don't remember if it was like a long porn career, if it was just like like maybe like a one-off, to pay some medical bills for something. I would dare say at this juncture, it's probably pretty obvious. But I promise you that if you go and you start Googling this, you will find out that what I am telling you is true. Don't ask me how I know. I'm not telling you. Okay? I'm not telling. But anyway, so all of this, what was it about? It was about the subject of penile injury. Yeah, penile injury, and what Conor McGregor could have done to himself, and what's he going to tell the people at the hospital. Um, so obviously, if you're thinking about that, like don't do that, and just like and the unlikely event that Chael Sonnen is watching this, like don't think too hard about where you get something like that. Just don't get it. Don't do that. Don't use it if you're thinking about that. Uncle Chael, we love you, but there's a lot of weird things. There's a few weird things about you, and we just want the best for you. So if you're thinking about that, don't. I I don't think I can be vehement enough about that. Like I'm literally sitting here thinking about it, like like the fake trailer, the fake movie trailer from the from the Quentin Tarantino Robert Rodriguez Grindhouse movie. And they had like the fake trailer for that movie for the movie Don't. that I don't believe has ever actually been made into a real movie, unlike a bunch of those. But the whole thing was just like, if you are thinking about getting a dick weight, don't. Just don't. Yeah, don't. But really, like, I think the most important thing that I could actually possibly say in this podcast at this moment on this subject is like, if you're thinking about sending unsolicited dick pics, to some girl, don't. Okay? Just don't. Like, it's harassment. It never works out to anybody's benefit. I don't think that anybody has ever actually gotten the thing that they want out of it. And it's going to cause you so much more trouble than it's worth. And really, I think that probably you ought to just value yourself, and your dick like a good deal more than that. You just got to be like, my motto on this subject is really simple. Like, daddy only shows his dick in private. I think every guy should have like a thing that he says. It's like, he calls himself daddy, and it's like, daddy only does, or daddy does, or whatever. And it's like, this is the one that every single guy should have. Daddy only shows his dick in private. So I don't know if that little public service announcement here at the end is going to be enough to appease the YouTube gods, to not ass fuck me with the YouTube algorithm. You know what? I fucked it up right there. Like right there. Now it's totally fucked. This video is going to the fucking the YouTube S&M basement, to be hidden away for until the end of time. I just turned this video into the shame of YouTube. But you know what? I kind of think that really, all things considered, I think YouTube kind of deserves it. So. I've kind of talked myself into a corner now. I don't really know how to get out of it. I mean, just kind of say that, Conor McGregor, you're kind of you're kind of a fucking idiot. Like, just okay, don't do it. Okay, daddy only shows his dick in private, so don't do it. But you know what? If you're gonna do it, like, at least have like a proper standard, like, okay, like a Tate McRae or better. Okay? At least make the juice worth the squeeze. It's a good way to conclude with a masturbation joke. Do I want to conclude with a masturbation joke? Ugh, this is terrible. I'm just rambling at this point. Okay, stop. Okay. Okay. Keep it in your pants. Full stop. Goodbye.